What is going on, Culture Changers? Welcome back to the Culture Changers podcast. Now, we are going to be getting into week 4 of our NFL predictions. Unfortunately, Dylan could not do them with me today, so I will be making my own picks, but I will get his picks and see what it is exactly or what team he was going to pick anyways. So, those you will see on the screen. Recapping last week, I went 8-8. Dylan went 11-5. Well, technically, that wasn't it because the Eagles and Bengals tied. But this week I kind of want to do something a little different and kind of go over some of the different scenarios of the teams that we chose and that didn't win, right? So we both picked the Jacksonville Jaguars. Unfortunately, they got beat pretty bad by the Miami Dolphins and Ryan Fitzmagic. Like I said earlier, the Eagles and Bengals tied. Nick Foles came in and helped prevail over the Falcons with the Bears. Now, Dylan did choose the Bears, so that was one of the teams that he got correct that I didn't. And we both picked the Bengals. Either way, it didn't matter. Whoever we picked, nobody was going to win in that one. Controversial PI lifts the Bills over the Rams, even though the Rams came back from 28-3. Now, I'd picked the Rams. Dylan picked the Bills, so he got the win there, but should the Bills have gotten that pass interference call going their way on a fourth down that put them even closer to the goal line? Not so sure about that. The Carolina Panthers go into SoFi Stadium and beat Justin Herbert and the Chargers in his second start. I think that we had both chose the Chargers on that one, so that was one that we had both picked incorrectly. The next one, Kyler Murray throws 3 picks in upsetting loss to the Detroit Lions. So I don't really know how that happened. I just tweeted out the other day that I thought Kyler Murray was about to take over the league, so maybe I shouldn't do that, especially with my picks. But I think we had both picked the Cardinals to win that game, and then Mahomes and Chiefs flex their muscles against Baltimore in a big win on Monday Night Football. Now, we had actually both picked Baltimore because we thought maybe that they were going to be able to, kind of beat Big Brother Kansas City, but they were unable to take care of business. At the end of the day, Dylan had 11 correct picks. I had 8 correct picks. And then there was the one tie that really kind of skewed our scores. But you will see on the season record how we've done so far. Dylan now is in the lead after picking 3 more correct than I did this past week. But sometimes that's how it goes. So we're going to go ahead and get into this first matchup, the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. It's going to be in New York, I believe. And the Broncos are going to be starting their 3rd quarterback already this season. The Jets really don't have much, but the Broncos are very injury riddled. I expect the Jets to actually win this game, get their first W of the year. Moving on to the second game, we have the New Orleans Saints versus the Detroit Lions. Now, the Saints have lost 2 games in a row, and the Lions are coming off of a big victory. This game is going to be in Detroit, but I think the Saints even it out, get back to 2-2, right the ship. I think they're going to go ahead and beat Detroit. I think that, that big loss at home to Green Bay is kind of a motivating factor for them to say, hey, we need to get our stuff together if we're going to compete in this NFC. The third game that we have here today is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we have the Chargers going across the country virtually. And to me, I think that Justin Herbert is going to probably continue to start. Not really sure the status of Tyrod Taylor after the team doctor punctured his lung while trying to give him a shot. So I do think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go ahead and take care of business here in this third game. The fourth game that we are going to be looking at today is the Jacksonville Jaguars and Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Jacksonville's a pretty young team. They had a big letdown on, the past Thursday night game against the Miami Dolphins, as we talked about earlier. And I think that Cincinnati, they're starting to get better every week. I think that they're kind of really trying to find themselves. And I typically think that teams that played on Thursday night have a slower start to games than teams who have only had like a week in between time. And, I think Cincinnati and Cleveland both had that in their past game. But I do think that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to get their first win of the year. I think they're getting closer and closer in Jacksonville, man. You're just kind of starting to see it now kind of fall apart after they had 2 strong weeks to start the season. Third game, we have a matchup between 2 0-3 teams that were very unexpected here. We have the Minnesota Vikings and the Houston Texans. Now, Deshaun Watson balled out, I think, pretty well on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and so did J.J. Watt. So it's two of their franchise cornerstone players that are really kind of showing up and trying to help them win games. Unfortunately, Minnesota, I think they might have had to suspend their activities because of the coronavirus test that came out positive from the Tennessee Titans, and we'll talk more about that later. But honestly, I just think that the Texans are a little bit better than the Minnesota Vikings. I guess we'll see how this game plays out, but Minnesota did kind of find themselves this past Sunday, so maybe we'll see what happens there. But I'm going with the Houston Texans. The next game that we have on the slate is going to be the Seattle Seahawks versus the Miami Dolphins. Now, obviously, Russ is playing at an MVP level. They are 3-0. They had a big victory over the Cowboys this past Sunday, and they are traveling to Miami. I really don't think Miami has enough to slow down Russ and then boys, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Unfortunately, the Seahawks aren't going to have Chris Carson, and their defense has not played very well. But I do think that they have enough to kind of shake up the Dolphins, get a win, move to 4-0, and stay in the lead in the NFC West out there with a division that is very good this year. The next game that we have is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers and Tennessee Titans. Now, this game is postponed to potentially either Monday night or till Tuesday. So we'll see what happens there. The Tennessee Titans, it really hasn't come out which players tested positive for the coronavirus. So we'll see, who's out or not. I do expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to actually win this game. They just have a leg up with being able to practice and walk through, and now they'll have a little bit of extra time to prepare. So we will see how this game turns out and really, what is the effect of a team having a few coronavirus cases come back positive. But I do expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game, move to 4-0, unfortunately, but that's the tough life of living as a Browns fan and being in the AFC North. Speaking of the Browns and Cowboys, big game coming up here. A lot of people are going back and forth on who they think is going to win this game. Cleveland's 2-1, first time being over 500 since 2014, I believe. So it's been a long time, and I wouldn't say that we've beaten the best opponents, but we've taken care of business when the opportunities come. Dallas, I don't know what's going on with their defense. I thought it was going to be a lot better this year. I think I've stated that in previous podcasts, but unfortunately, they are not getting the job done. I expect the Cleveland Browns to run the ball effectively and efficiently and target the receivers in particular matchups that they like when they get to the line of scrimmage. Cowboys, obviously, Dak's playing at a really good level. He has a lot of passing yards. I think that the Cowboys need to depend a little bit more on the run game with Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know why they're kind of getting away from that. But they have three really talented receivers, so it is going to be an interesting game, especially because I think both defenses really can't guard anything. So I could either see a shootout or maybe the defenses rise to the occasion and get some stops. However, I'm a Browns fan, so I'm going to choose the Browns. I said this before. Cleveland winning this game. The next game we have is the Arizona Cardinals versus the Carolina Panthers. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about how Kyler Murray had a rough go at it this past Sunday against the Detroit Lions. I think that the Panthers are a struggling team. However, they did get a win this past week. And I just think that the Cardinals are kind of just too good to be able to, kind of get on this losing streak against teams that really aren't that great. I think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to win this game. They are my pick, locking it down. The next game we have on the slate is going to be the Indianapolis Colts versus Chicago Bears. Now, a lot of people say that Chicago Bears are the worst 3-0 team, and I absolutely have to agree with that. They've played three of probably the easiest opponents in the league so far this year. They played the Lions, they played the Giants, and they played the Falcons. And unfortunately, things just aren't going so well, right? They had to bring in Nick Foles for Trubisky because they said that he wasn't playing too good, but a lot of Bears fans were saying that it was bad play calling. So I think it's Matt Nagy's way of trying to get Mitch out of the game, out of the team, move on from him because they just don't think that he has it, right? So the Colts had a great defensive performance against the Jets this past week. They had 2 pick sixes and they had multiple picks on Darnold. I think that, they are finding themselves. They apparently are the number one defense. Now, I don't think that the opponents that they've played have been that tough, but we'll see, what happens moving forward. I think Colts take care of business, beat the Chicago Bears. Next game we have here is the Ravens versus Washington. It is the Battle of Maryland, really, honestly, because both of these teams play in Maryland. I think that the Baltimore Ravens, after that tough loss, are going to go in and beat the Washington football team. Really, no doubt about it. Especially with Chase Young being out, I think Ravens take care of business here. Next, moving on, we have the New York Giants versus the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Giants have to travel all the way across the country to play the Rams. They have not played great football this year. Saquon Barkley is out for the year. Rams had a great comeback against the Bills, as I mentioned earlier. However, I think that they are just going to steamroll the Giants. Obviously, the Giants are probably the two worst teams in the league, and unfortunately, they share the same stadium. Rams, I think, just going to take care of business. Sean McVay and Jared Goff are getting back to that really good scheme that they were running the year before they went to the Super Bowl and the year that they went to the Super Bowl. So Rams take care of business. Patriots and Chiefs, I mean, we saw how good the Kansas City Chiefs look. Patriots always played them tough, but I think that they've lost too many guys to really be able to defend them the way that they did in that AFC Championship game where the Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl. I think they actually won that Super Bowl because it was the one against the Rams. I think the Kansas City Chiefs, they're playing too good. They're literally head and shoulders above the rest of the league right now. It's ridiculous. Kansas City takes care of business, winning that game at home. Too bad that's not a primetime game. But moving on, the Buffalo Bills and Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this game is going to be in Las Vegas, and the Raiders had a tough loss to the Patriots. Bills kind of do a lot of similar things to how the Patriots did, but their defense, man, it's really good. So I expect the Buffalo Bills to actually win this game, go 4-0. It's like they refuse to lose. I don't get it. I don't think that they're that great of a team, but they are taking care of business, and I respect the heck out of that. And the Raiders let me down last week, so I got to go with Buffalo this week. Next game that we have here is the Eagles traveling to San Francisco on Sunday night. Come on. 49ers, I mean, I don't know what's really going on with like the injuries there. San Francisco had like 10 injuries going into the last game, and I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play. But I'm going to just go ahead and pick the 49ers, expecting him to come back and play, some of the other guys to come back and play. Obviously, they lost Nick Bosa for the year, so that's unfortunate, and I think that would help them a lot in this game. But 49ers, I think, are going to win, and the Eagles are going to fall to 0-3-1. That's really one of the biggest surprises of this year to me, just because I thought they were one of the better teams. And then the final game, Monday Night Football, Atlanta Falcons traveling to Lambeau Field to play that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. Come on, man. Aaron Rodgers putting up at least 30 every game, and that Falcons defense is giving them up. So Packers win this one in a blowout. I don't even expect the Falcons to really stay in it, especially because they're a pass-heavy team. Those pass rushers are going to get to them, sack Matt Ryan, make life difficult. Corners playing pretty decent, and the safeties are pretty good, pretty fast. They make plays. So I expect the Green Bay Packers to just go ahead and win this game, move to 4-0. Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing dimes and making suck it signs. You know what I mean? So those are my picks. You will see Dylan's also throughout this entire video. Wouldn't forget that. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I would appreciate if you guys make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Liking the video helps other people see it and could potentially bring other commenters, viewers, subscribers to the channel. So that would be awesome if you could do that. I appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you comment down below who your team is. If I picked them to win, if Dylan picked them to win. And if we didn't, tell us why they will win. All right. Thank you. I'll see you guys in the next one.